Folks, this is the coolest event on the planet. We wouldn't miss it for the world. We're so glad that you guys are here at Maker Faire along with us. It is just too much fun to be here at the New York Hall of Science and having all this crazy, crazy stuff going on. So we are EP Bird. My name is Fritz, and sitting right over there is Steven, our other half. Steven's a little under the weather today, so I'm going to be doing a lot of the talking, and he'll hop out to join in as we get closer to, well, making a really, really big mess. So we have here 108 bottles of Coke Zero, 648 Mentos mint candies. When those 648 Mentos mint candies collide with those 108 bottles of Coke Zero, it gets a little crazy. We are going to get soaked to the skin for your amusement. It's just that simple. Now, just to let you guys know again, if you are standing right here in line with these back tables right in this general area, you might get a little wet. And as we come back here, right in this pocket, there's a chance that you guys will get a little bit wet right in here. As we get over here in line with the tables again, very good chance that you will get wet. Now, as we come closer to the corner, it gets drier and drier and drier, but then it gets wetter and wetter and wetter, so that you guys right here may get a little bit wet. And then we get drier again as we get over to this corner. Now, if you are in front, make sure that you're either right up against the stage or take a step back and sit down so that everybody behind you can see. We will be sending this soda 20, 30 feet into the air so that, you folks in the back will be able to see well. And if the wind kicks up, well, you might get wet. There's no guarantees. If the wind kicks up, it could go anywhere. So, we want to talk to you a little bit about what the science behind this is and how you guys can do this. The biggest question that we get asked is well, what is it about this combination of Coke Zero and Mentos? What is it that makes for this explosive reaction? And you would think that it would be a chemical reaction. You'd think that it would be something about the ingredients of the soda and the ingredients of the Mentos that causes this to happen. But it's actually a physical reaction. It's a physical reaction called nucleation. And you can see this in action if you just put your finger into a cup of soda. You'll see bubbles forming on the ridges of your finger. And what's going on is that you've got all of this carbon dioxide, you've got all of this fizz inside the soda, and it wants to get out. It is looking for somewhere to go. And it can get out if it grabs onto anything bumpy. Now, it turns out that, well, when you put your finger in, the ridges of your finger provide those bumps for the carbon dioxide for the fizz to grab onto. But Mentos candies, the final stage of making a Mentos candy is to spray them with over 40 layers of liquid sugar. Now, this makes them not only tasty, it means that there are literally hundreds of thousands of microscopic bumps on the surface of a Mentos. And because they're heavy, they sink to the bottom. As they sink to the bottom, all those hundreds of thousands of little bumps the carbon dioxide is grabbing onto them. You get bubbles grabbing onto bubbles. You get this cascading reaction. All this pressure is released. It's got to go somewhere. It comes flying out the mouth of the bottle. Now, one of the other big questions we get asked is, so does it have to be Coke Zero? Well, any fizzy beverage will work, including those made for adults. In fact, the biggest geysers we've ever seen, we created with a German champagne. There is so much carbon dioxide inside a champagne that it literally gives you geysers that can be about 50% taller than with Coke Zero. But the reason we use Coke Zero or Diet Coke is they put a little bit more carbonation, a little bit more fizz inside the Coke Zero and the Diet Coke. So there's a little more power. But the other reason is that there's no sugar. And no sugar means it's not sticky. And given that we bathe in the stuff, we appreciate that it's not sticky. So we've got a few little demonstrations to show you about how you guys can do it yourself. Let me grab Steven, see if he can hobble his way up here onto the stage, and we'll show you how you guys can do this. Because, well, if there's one thing you take away from our show here today, one lesson that we'd like you to learn, that is try this at home. That is what Maker Faire is all about. So, we'd like to show you how you can do this with just a piece of paper and a playing card or a business card.
So the simplest way to do this is just take a piece of paper, a business card or playing card, and roll the paper up into a tube just about the diameter of some Mentos. Put the card on the bottom. That'll keep the Mentos from falling through till you're ready. Put the Mentos in, and then put that whole assembly over a bottle of Coke Zero, like Fritz is about to do. Then when you pull the card out, all the Mentos will drop in, and we'll see what happens. 3, 2, 1, pull. Nice. And the most important part is when the geyser is done, arms up.
Mackenzie, could you hold this?
Now, when you're doing 100 bottles, you can't really use the paper tube method like that. So this is what we used to do. We took 5 or 6 Mentos, we drilled a hole in them, we'd string a piece of fishing line through the hole, so we had a sort of bead string of Mentos. We then drill a hole in a bottle cap and put that on the top, and then we can screw that whole assembly onto a bottle clipped with just a little binder clip from an office supply store. And that binder clip keeps the string of Mentos from falling into the soda until you remove it. So this way you can set up 5 or 10 or 100 bottles of soda all at once, and none of them go off until you pull the binder clip. Like this. 3, 2, 1, pull. Oh, you got it right. Now you might also notice that geyser went just a touch higher than the first one. And that's because the hole that we put in the top of that bottle cap was a little bit smaller than the opening of the bottle. So the smaller opening means the soda will go higher. Now, as we started doing shows, we got kind of tired of drilling 5 or 6 Mentos times 100 bottles for every single show we did. So we came up with this, and this is what you see on our stage right now. This is just a piece of PVC. Inside it right now are 5 or 6 Mentos. We have a hole drilled at the bottom and a pin across it that holds the Mentos in. And then at the top, we have a cap with holes of different size drilled so we can make different effects. Now when we pull this pin, the Mentos will drop into the bottle, and we'll get the geyser that we just got, except it's a lot easier to prepare it. Hey, we've got a helper. 3, 2, 1, pull. Yes.
Joe.
Now, if you look around on our stage here,
Jesse,
you'll see different
Not
colored
now.
nozzles. There's a little colored band around the top of each of these nozzles. There's red ones and blue ones and yellow ones and black ones and orange ones, maybe a few other colors. And each of those tell us what effect we've drilled in the hole, in the top of the bottle. So here's an orange one, and we'll see what this does. 3, 2, 1, pull. Nice. Good job. Good job. So if we look carefully, you'll see some orange ones, a few orange ones on the table. And watch for that effect as we go through the show.
Okay. Do comparisons?
Yeah. Now, in order to determine for ourselves that in fact it's the surface of the Mentos instead of some chemical reaction, we tried a couple different things. The first one I tried to go as far as I could away from Mentos to see whether this would work or not was a stack of coins. So we have a stack of coins in here, and we'll see if it's not as good, but we'll see if we get any reaction at all. If we get any reaction, that probably tells us that it's a physical reaction, not chemical. 3, 2, 1, pull. Nothing. Wow. That's right. One of the things to notice about the slow ones, is they usually will keep going longer because there's the same amount of CO2 in there, and when it doesn't come out all fast and high,